Deadlock is a brand new game being developed by Valve that is currently in closed beta, and it aims to combine two massive genres, MOBAs and hero shooters. The gameplay definitely leaning more towards the MOBA side of things. So I thought, why not describe every character in Deadlock in hero shooter terms? To help out the hero shooter players who want to try this game, because learning to play a MOBA for the first time can definitely be a struggle. So the least I could do is try and help you understand the characters. Starting with Abrams. He's a classic beef boy tank style character for you hero shooter players, with a ton of built-in sustain and survivability in his kit. If you like to eat damage and get in your opponent's face, this is your guy. Bebop is an interesting one. You might think he would be a tank because of his beefy health pool, but all of his abilities are damage focused. So honestly, he could be classified as a DPS or a tank, which will definitely sound a bit strange to you hero shooter players. But in a MOBA, you could probably build Bebop as either a tanky boy or a DPS. Dynamo is a thick support. He may be built like a bowling ball, but he's a monster with a knock-up, a group blink, and an AoE heal and stun. Dynamo would definitely be classified as a support, but is still an absolute monster. Now, Grey Talon is the token archer character. I don't need to say any more. Obviously would be classified as a DPS if you want the hero shooter comparison. Bringing us to Haze. Haze is a classic catch you with your pants down invisible flanker the moment you think you're safe. Haze embodies some of your favorite hero shooter DPS. Just a real classic archetype. Infernus is just another clear-cut DPS in hero shooter terms, with all of his abilities focusing around applying dots to the enemies. It's definitely simple, but very effective. Now, Ivy is a unique character designed around supporting the team through slows, healing tethers, and an extremely unique ultimate that literally allows you to fly around and carry your teammates, which can create some crazy combos, but definitely would be classified as a support for the players who want to know. Kelvin is a character where looks are deceiving. When you look at him, you might think he's a tanking or damage-focused character, but in reality, he's about supporting his team through slows, movement speed buffs, and an isolating bubble that heals allies while slowing opponents. I know he doesn't look like it, but he would be classified as a support in a hero shooter. Lady Geist is a damage-focused character that would fit easily into the DPS role for a hero shooter. All of her abilities focusing around using her own health pool to fuel her abilities. The ultimate even allowing you to swap health bars with your target. It's a very interesting playstyle. Lash, in hero shooter terms, is a classic dive DPS, and apparently an asshole, as described in game. He easily has the best movement in this game with his whips, and the ability to completely isolate and forcefully position his opponents. He's a fun character to run into. McGinnis is the game's turret defensive specialist, equipped with a turret, obviously, a self-heal, and a literal wall. Placing McGinnis in the classic hero shooter archetypes is tough, because the abilities do support, but are also very effective at confirming kills. And on top of that, McGinnis is not that squishy either, so the character's just got a lot of flexibility in the playstyle. Mo and Krill are a clear-cut tank duo, with abilities that grant armor, self-heal, disarm, and hard stun beat down your opponents, which when happens is genuinely terrifying. But how can you not like this duo? Paradox is Deadlock's Dialga and Polkia, a master of time and space, with the ability to slow and straight up freeze opponents in place, and their ultimate being a skill shot that swaps your position with a target. If you're curious what role Paradox would fit in a hero shooter, it would be a DPS, with some supportive traits, just because of the ability to block bullets. Pocket is another tanky character with good damage potential, having the ability to damage you from range, but in a split second will be on top of you, hitting you with one of the most aggressive dots, or avoiding damage by retreating into his suitcase. Pocket can be a tricky character, but in a hero shooter would definitely be classified as a tank. Now, 7 in a hero shooter would be considered a DPS, and a strong one at that. Nothing in Seven's kit is mid. The weakest part of the kit is Seven's ult, and the ult is pretty solid. So when it comes to oppressive damage, Seven is probably the best at it. Shiv is another interesting character to try and place in the classic hero shooter roles, because he has the potential to be tanky with his abilities, but at the same time he has powerful dots and an ult that is an insta-kill if your opponent is at 20% health. He ends up sitting somewhere between a tank and a DPS in hero shooter roles, but there's no real exact spot for him. Vindicta is the classic sniper of any game, hero shooters included. In a hero shooter, she would be classified as a DPS, with her having the potential to deal massive burst damage at a great range. Vindicta is simple and clear-cut, kinda like her playstyle. Viscous is the slime kid of Deadlock, having the ability to deal decent burst damage, slow, and completely save a teammate by turning them into an invincible block of goo. Viscous overall, in hero shooter terms, would fit as a support, with the flexibility to save, support, and deal some damage. Warden is another one of the tanky characters that exist in Deadlock. His abilities focus more around debuffing and stunning your opponents, from reducing their damage to hard chaining them to a location. He's not the tankiest, but in a hero shooter would be classified as such. Wraith would easily be classified as a DPS in a hero shooter, equipped with good burst damage, a TP for movement or a quick escape, and an AoE fire rate buff for you and your teammates. She is as DPS as a character can get. Finally finishing with my current favorite character to play, Yamato, who in a hero shooter would be easily classified as a dive DPS. From her ability to launch herself at a target to her close range slash, her kit is really all focused around dealing damage up close and personal. And that is every single character in Deadlock, but described in hero shooter terms, at least from the characters that are currently available in the beta. Let me know what you think of the game in the comments, and thanks for watching. Hopefully this helped.
I need a way to fix on my heart, but there ain't a bandage to cover these scars. Keep using my kindness, 'cause that's who you are.